Turning our attention to Western Eyre Netball on the Friday night sports show now, and I'm joined as always by coach of the Hawks who have locked in a top 2 spot, Reanna Freeman. You must be excited, Reanna.
A very excited weekend coming up.
We'll get to that in just a moment because it is obviously the first week of finals coming and the season's wrapped up, so it's exciting times in Western Eyre Netball. But before we do that, Hannah Petty, the premiership captain of the Adelaide Thunderbirds, is in the area visiting a couple of the schools. Can you tell us what's going on there?
Yeah, very exciting for the whole of the EP. She's in Ceduna area school Friday morning, so going to, I think, both schools down in Ceduna. Kids very excited to see her, and then in the afternoon in Streaky Bay. So I know the Streaky Bay kids are dressed up in pink. They've got a bit of a Q&A on stage asking Hannah a few questions and then lots of photos and signing afterwards. So there is certainly some very excited kids around the EP. I know she's doing a bit of other stuff, with other associations on the Saturday. So we were just very happy to have had her in town on the Friday, both in Ceduna and Streaky, and timing couldn't have been better. I think there was some pretty exciting questions being asked about how you handle finals and, sort of what's your approach, which we couldn't have better timing, being that we are starting finals all weekend.
Yes, very good. Good to hear the young stars of the future picking her brain because, of course, she's a superstar. Like I said, premiership captain only a few weeks back of the Adelaide Thunderbirds. And it's good to see her giving back and getting back into her community.
Absolutely, and she bought the Premiership Cup with her, so very exciting for everyone to get their hands on that. She's not only a fabulous netballer, fabulous leader, but she's very community orientated, really open to questions. She's, on the TV, a bit of a superstar, but she's really just a country down-to-earth girl, so very, very happy and very privileged to have had the honour of having her in our hometowns.
I'm sure she's probably not as excited about the final starting as you are. Like I said, the Hawks have locked in a top 2 spot. So let's just kick back to the final round of the season, and we'll start out with your game. It was a big win over the Ceduna Blues, 64-30.
Yeah, look, it was a really good game. You can't sort of take away from Blues the effort they put in and the quality of players they have. Hayley Clayton played in defence. She got some hands at some really good balls. Georgia Lambeth, she played through the mid-court in defence, and look, she's outstanding. She's a hard player to stand and is an impact player. And then also Taylor Collins. Mentioned last week that without Holly, I wasn't sure whether she'd go back into goals, and she did, and she played goal attack, and look, I think she played a beautiful game. She just unfortunately came up against Alana Beard, who I think would have to be one of the best goal defence in our competition. She's having an outstanding season, so bad luck to Blues, finishing the season on a 34-goal loss, but their team was a bit down and out with injuries towards the end of the season. Hawks, looking really good in that game. We unfortunately had Maddie Nicholson, our goal shooter, in the third quarter go down and seriously hurt her ankle. So shout out to the Blues Netball Club. They were outstanding to help. They couldn't do enough to help us. That's always nice to have when, you get a player go down. You might be trying to win a netball game, but at the end of the day, we're all there for each other. But unfortunately, that means for Hawks, we don't have Maddie in our team for final. She is down and out for the rest of the season, so wishing her all the recovery.
And we'll come back to that in a moment when we preview the Hawks' first week of finals. But in our other game, it was Wirrallah over Thevenard by 6 goals, 52-46. So a top 2 spot was on the line in that game, and it's Wirrallah who have locked up top spot. Whereas Thevenard will drop to 3rd, and they'll have a rematch against the Western United Tigers next week.
That's right, and unfortunately for Thevi, they sort of had a similar case as the Hawks, but it was a lot earlier in the game. Cassie, who's been having an outstanding season, she sort of got back from Europe. I think she played last week. She, in the very first quarter, did her ankle and I believe is out for the rest of the finals. So another shout out to Cassie, and unfortunately injuries at any time of the year are horrible, but the week before finals is also stings that a little bit harder, and I think she did the same thing last year. So I'm not sure what it is before finals. Maybe Cassie should just have those last couple of games off next time. But Sevi definitely a little bit disappointed that they had that 6-goal loss. I don't think they should be too disappointed. They got 46 goals, so it was a high-scoring game. For the whole 60 minutes of the game, Emma Willis, I've been told, is on fire, and I think we've known that all year. She's having an absolute outstanding game. Chelsea through the centre, Chelsea Webster for Wirrala and Sevi's Amy Fackles, both, short speedsters, beautiful players. They had a really good hit out through the centre, and Lindsay has done a beautiful job on Soph Kellett, who's also having a great year, both those girls. So a really good game, only 6 in it. I think the margin was only 2 most of the game until the last bit of the last quarter. So both teams looking really good at the right time of the year. Sevi disappointed, but I know that they'll come out firing this weekend to rectify that loss.
And it is finals kicking off this weekend. We've knocked out the Ceduna Blues and we're down to 4 teams. Like you said, you're going to be without your goal shooter on the Hawks, and Wirrala are coming off a good win. And quite frankly, both teams are coming into the finals in red-hot form. So give us a little preview of this game. I'm sure your heart says Hawks in an easy win, but your brain probably says it's going to be a really tough game.
I don't know that I put easy into the sentence, but my heart and my head both says that Hawks can come away with a win. Look, we've got a lot of history with Wirrala. They're definitely not a team to be underestimated. They're a very flexible team. They've got players like Jazz Billing, who I know in the last part of this round has been going into defence and doing a really good job. She's also a beautiful goalie. She also plays in the mid-court. Sophie Kellett can go at both ends. They've got nothing but versatility in their team. Hawks without Maddie, obviously a huge out, but we've still got really good depth in our team, so that just means that Shannon Johnson, who's played goals in sort of this last 4 or 5 games on and off, anyway, we'll go into goals with Rochelle, and look, these 2 girls play absolutely beautiful together. Very happy to say we've got Nissa Bell back on the court this week. She hurt her knee a few weeks back, so pretty happy to have her back on the court. Alana Beard, Hannah Chenoweth and Alicia Coombs doing some beautiful things in defence. So, look, there's going to be some really good matchups. Wirrala beat us at the start of the year. We won the last 2 games. Both teams in great form, neither to be underestimated. I believe Wirrala would go in favourites, being their top of the ladder and have finished really strong. But my heart and my head tells me that our girls can do it, and I believe that they will, and I'm also very hopeful that they will.
Whoever doesn't book their ticket to the grand final will be playing the winner of the other game, which is Thevenard and the Western United Tigers. Thevenard have looked like the better team for most of the year, but we've spoken about it a little bit for the last 3 or 4 weeks. The Tigers, they've been really improving, and just 2 weeks ago, they knocked off Thevenard. So Thevenard have had a bit of a look at them. They know what they need to do to come back and win.
Yeah, this is a really hard one to call. Sevi beat them by 6 at the start of the year, and at the start of the year, Westies were nothing like they are now. They've definitely built and become a really good unit, a team unit. Sort of at the halfway point of the season, Sevi won by 2. And then, as we said, they only met a couple of weeks ago, and Westies came out top by 8, so 29-37. All 3 times that they've met, they haven't been overly high scores. Like 37 isn't a low score, but it's certainly not extremely high in a game of netball. In A grade, so it just shows that both teams are very defensive. Not really sure how Westies will line up. They've sort of had their core 6. I know that Chloe Ettridge will be in defence with Lara Skinner and Harriet Appleby. Those 3 have been playing some beautiful netball. You've got Abby and Durrani, who will be in goals again, and Heidi Warmington through the centre. So Heidi will match up against, I assume, Amy Fackles for Thevenard. That'll be a really good matchup. Both quite quick and onto the ball. I believe without Cass, that might see either Tracy or Nikki Sleek going to goal, so just depending on how they line up as to how it defends. Look, this is going to be an absolute outstanding game, 12 o'clock at Penong. I think Westies will go in with a little bit more energy, knowing that they have a home crowd advantage, playing on their own ground with everyone out and about and around them. Certainly makes it a little bit easier for them. I think Sevi are going to be really keen. Look, I can't sit on the fence for this one, but I really do not know who to call. I think Westies are in fine form. I think Courtney Trowbridge is a fabulous shooter for Sevi. Look, I think if her goals are on, she's going to be hard to stop. Lindsay's doing beautiful things in defence with Nikki. So, look, I'm going to tip Sevi, but look, I think maybe it might even go into overtime. Who knows?
I'm glad we've tipped a winner there because we don't allow fence sitting on this show. So good luck at this weekend to you, Reanna, and of course good luck to everyone competing in finals. I'm very excited to see how it all plays out, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you again next week. And well, I bet you're hoping you're not going to be in action next week, but we'll just have to see what happens.
Good luck to all teams. Thank you to all volunteers. Travel safe, and just on the quiet side, go Hawks.
Looking forward to it next week. Thanks, Reanna.
No worries. Thank you.